Hey guys, Joe here, the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. I'm joined this afternoon by Alex, content creator for Sports Grid TV, host and creator of Couchside Sports. Alex, you've been on a roll in the MLB. How's it going today?
Pretty good. We had a great last month in the MLB. We hit like 70% of our picks, which is even more than I could have imagined. And I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So, yeah, baseball's been kind to me, thankfully.
Well, that is good. We've got lots of great games on the diamond today. I know you're looking at the Mets and the Padres game. What are you liking in this one?
So this is my favorite game of the day. I think it's on MLB Network. The Mets are taking on the Padres. The Mets just had like the series in baseball against the Dodgers back and forth. They're on a 2-game win streak. Again, they were looking bleak at the beginning of that series. They find a way. And what I find interesting about this is usually when you see an East Coast team playing a West Coast team on the road, a lot of things that people talk about, especially in the first game of the series, is travel, jet lag, things like that. But when you look at the travel, actually, the Mets are coming from Los Angeles and the Padres are the ones actually coming from Milwaukee. So despite being the home West Coast team, they're the ones who are going to have to do a little bit more traveling. And they also just played an extra innings game in Milwaukee that they did win. And then I look at the pitching matchup. Carlos Carrasco against Blake Snell. Now, this is the tale of two coins. You look at the numbers immediately, you're going to look at Carrasco and say he's obviously better. Snell had a horrible year last year, but then you do a deep dive on the numbers, and Blake Snell is actually pretty good at home, and Carrasco is pretty bad on the road. So a lot of people are saying take the Padres today. This year's a little bit different. I don't think Snell's having a very good year at all this year. He's only got 15 innings pitched, 0-2. Almost a 5.0 ERA. And I think Carrasco is a little bit better than people give him credit for. I know a lot of his numbers are at home, but 6-1 this year. Good things happen when he pitches, and the Mets offense is too hot. So I like the Mets money line tonight. I got it last night at plus 100. I think it's minus 110 now because a lot of people saw how good the Mets offense is this year. And I'm wearing a Mets hat for a reason. They make me so much money. It's incredible.
I love it. Well, we know the Mets have been really strong in the last 5 meetings, winning 4 of those. So I like what you're thinking here. I'm getting it at minus 105 on my book. Yep. Love the value on that. The total of 7.5. Any thoughts on this at all?
So if I'm going to go anywhere on the total here, I'm actually leaning over, which is going to be surprising to some people because they see the two really good pitchers out here. But 7 is a little bit low. The Mets could score 7 any given game. They're one of the best offenses in baseball. They're number 1 in hits. They're 3rd in runs. So again, while Snell has been traditionally throughout his career a great pitcher, last year and this year not so much. And again, the Mets bullpen is shaky. Like we can just be honest. Like they've given up some runs this year. Again, they're 12th in hits allowed and they are 5th in runs allowed. Like they're one of the better teams. Again, I would consider them the 2nd best team in baseball right now behind the Yankees. But if I'm going to lean anywhere, I'm actually going to lean the over because both of these offenses have been sort of charging up a little bit here. I wouldn't bet on it, but I would be looking at it for sure.
Okay. I like it. Thanks for your honesty on if you'd bet on it or not. Oh. I don't know what we have playing here.
All good. A little bit of music. No problem.
I don't know where that is coming from. I apologize.
No worries.
Okay, so, well, that was just an intro into this game. We'll roll with that. We're looking, I know you have play in the matchup between the Texas Rangers and the Cleveland Guardians. Now, Texas coming in here, I'm getting minus 105 on the money line, Cleveland minus 115. We've got John Gray starting for the Texas Rangers, total of 9.5 up from 8.5. What are you liking in this one?
I'm liking the Guardians money line here. So again, I had the Texas Rangers yesterday, and if anybody else had the Rangers yesterday, they were up 5-2 going into the top of the 9th and somehow found a way to lose in extras. The Rangers are a very streaky and shaky team. I do not like their bullpen. And while their pitching has been decent recently, John Gray has not been one of those guys who's been decent. And Cal Quantrill gets a lot of disrespect, but he's actually been pretty good for the Guardians this year, and their bats have been pretty good as well. Then I look at the Guardians bullpen, which is probably one of their strength points. They're 3rd in hits allowed while also being tied for 7th in hits. So they're the better hitting team, better pitching team at home. Texas has to travel as well. The Rangers have to travel to Cleveland. And I don't know, hot team, cold team. I like it a lot at minus 115. I thought the line was pretty surprising.
Yeah, that is definitely a light line for the Cleveland Guardians here. We know the Rangers really have struggled in Cleveland too, only being able to win 1 of the last 5. Any thoughts of this rising total up to 9.5? It seems like a lot of runs.
That's a lot because people look at the number, but honestly, 9.5 to me is a little high. Once the number gets up there, I think you're almost asking for that to go under. For me, I think the Rangers have the capabilities to score a lot of runs. but they're just not as good on the road as they are at home, to put it simply. And they're already 21st in hits. So if anything, I'd look at the under in that. And now that you mention it, at 9.5, I might even sprinkle on it. If Cal can come out for the Guardians and have a good performance, that under will hit, especially with the Guardians bullpen.
Absolutely. Now we have to talk some NHL. We were talking it before the show kicked off here. Have the Edmonton Oilers and the Colorado Avalanche. Is there any hope left for the Edmonton Oilers, in your opinion, in this game?
Listen, I love the Oilers. I love Connor McDavid. I mean, I've compared him to Michael Jordan. I think he's one of the most fun players to watch in sports and should 100% get more recognition. But unfortunately, I do not think the Oilers can hang with the Avs. I said it from the beginning. The Avs just have too much firepower, and that's nothing to take away from the Oilers' fantastic season. I did not think they would even make it this far when they got into the playoffs. But the Avalanche right now are showing why they're just a tier above offensively. You and me were talking about their -1.5 at plus money. I'll be sprinkling on that. Their money line's down to -140, which I don't love, but if you want to throw it in a parlay piece, it's not a bad call. And you were talking about the team total under in Edmonton, which I love now after you told me about that.
Yeah, that team total under 3.5. I can't believe we're getting plus money with that. You guys make sure you check it out. Avs just really dominating that neutral zone and controlling the shots on goal. So I think we've got a great game. If the Colorado Avalanche can't close it out tonight, we will see game number 5, but highly
I think this one ends here. I mean, listen, I'm not saying that Edmonton's not going to try. In hockey, these guys go 110%, probably more than any other sport, to be completely honest with you. But I think Colorado understands that they're at an advantage where if they can handle this series earlier, they're going to get some more rest. And with Kadri and things that's going on, and again, in hockey in the playoffs, everybody's banged up, like they like to say. So more rest is always going to be something that players are going to want. And listen, they're probably looking over at the Eastern Conference and seeing that Tampa got one back and that's not going to be a sweep. So listen, they're going to want to get more rest on whoever they end up facing, especially if Tampa can find a way. I know they're down right now, but you got to be thinking about back-to-back Cup champions. You don't want to play them. So if you do end up having to play them, or a hot Ranger team that just beat the defending champs that just swept the Panthers and looked unbeatable, you're going to want as much rest as possible. Get your guys healthy, especially with the goaltending they got going on too. I think the Avalanche take care of business tonight in more ways than one, for sure.
I hope so. What do you think of that hit that we saw on Kadri, which has him out now? Evander Kane is only out for the one game. When I first read it, I thought he was on a 4-game suspension, only the one game for tonight. What were your thoughts on that?
So I've been, I'm a newer hockey fan. I've been enjoying it a lot. Again, I started watching hockey probably 3.5 years ago. I became a Panthers fan. I'm from Florida, so hockey wasn't like in my nature until recently. So I immediately saw that and I was like, huge hit, probably illegal. So, I hit up my friends and they're like, oh, 100%, multiple game suspension. I don't think we'll see him maybe even for like some of the earlier cup games, if they make it, if Edmonton pulls it out, but he's definitely out the rest of the series. And then I saw the notification. He was only missing one, talked to some of my friends about it. I did some research and I thought he should have gotten a few games at least for that one.
Yeah, that's why I kind of stumbled. I really thought it was 4, but they said for game 4. And I was like, really, this is what's happening. I'm not sure why he's getting such lenient treatment here, but I think it's
I saw something. I don't think it has anything to do with it. Again, I don't know a ton of hockey history, but I saw a former NHL referee came out and said something about karma for Kadri getting hit like that, which I thought was bold, to say the least.
Okay, so Kadri had a hit last season that he was suspended for 6 to 8 games, I believe. Yeah, it was. But this there was no difference in this hit, so I'm not sure. It's just
it was an absolutely brutal hit to watch live. Right. I actually was like, oh, like he got actually whacked. Like I felt bad. Like that was a serious. It looked like a pretty serious injury when it happened too. Like
absolutely,
I held my breath for a moment. So I don't know. I was surprised to only get the one game there for sure.
Yeah, hopefully if Colorado advances tonight, Kadri is able to join them.
Yeah. Because he's a huge piece. That will be, I mean, if he's missing any games in the Cup final, no matter who they play, that's something I'm going to take into consideration, especially.
Absolutely. We look at him on the season, 28 goals, 59 assists, 87 points. He's just been lighting it up. Was there anyone that you're looking for any player props in this game tonight?
This sounds kind of squarish, but anytime I see Nathan MacKinnon shots on over goal, I always tend to look at it because he's just one of my favorite players and he's one of the best. And I think in a closeout game without Kadri, I could see him just shooting more pucks on net tonight. So call me a square better for that, but that's what I like.
Yeah, you definitely have to hit that. It's over 4.5 at -132. You guys, I'd buy that up to over 5.5 even. I feel really confident in that. That's a great way to take it. Alex, can you tell everyone about your podcast, about where to find you?
Yeah, I got a new microphone, got a new webcam. So this week, Couchside Sports is coming back with some improved quality. Going to have some guests on. Joe, you're obviously welcome to come on as well. We'll be talking the rest of the NHL playoffs, rest of the NBA playoffs. And I do like talking some offseason stuff. I was talking about a trade earlier I saw from Kyrie Irving and Russell Westbrook potential swap. So I'll give my 2 cents on all those things as well. NFL offseason, obviously, is underway. We're seeing training camps, practices. Still some guys who could be traded, Jimmy Garoppolo, some other players. So I'll be talking everything on there as well. So it's going to be sports and sports betting, hopefully, every day.
Poor Jimmy. Okay, Alex, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Can't wait to have you back on next week.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I'll be back in the next 2 minutes here with another Joe Madden Sports podcast. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you again.